Welcome to Coder Beans. In this part, we'll dive into one of the essential data structures, arrays. These are fundamental building blocks in JavaScript that enable you to work with collections of data and create more complex data structures. At the end of this video, there will be a quiz to check your knowledge on arrays in JavaScript, creating arrays. An array is a collection of values, which can be of any data type stored in a single variable. There are two methods of creating arrays in JavaScript. Method 1, using array literals. In this method, you directly list the elements you want to include within the array. This is the most common and convenient way to create an array. You define the array by enclosing a list of values inside square brackets. Please see the code in the background. 1. The square brackets are used to define an array. 2. Elements are separated by commas. 3. Elements can be of different data types, but it's common to have elements of the same type. Method 2. Using the Array Constructor. You can also create an array using the Array Constructor. The constructor can be called with or without arguments. When called without arguments, it creates an empty array. If you pass one numeric argument, it defines the array length. Please see the code in the background. When creating an array with a specified length, it's worth noting that the elements will initially be undefined. You can later assign values to these elements. Important. It's recommended to use array literals, method 1, for most cases because it's simpler and more readable. The array constructor, method 2, is less commonly used. Both methods are valid, but array literals are the preferred choice in most situations due to their simplicity and readability. Accessing array elements. To access elements in an array, you use square brackets with an index, where the first element has an index of 0. For example, please see the code in the background. Modifying array elements. You can change array elements by assigning new values to specific indices, like this. Please see the code in the background. Multidimensional arrays in JavaScript. A multidimensional array in JavaScript is an array that contains other arrays as its elements. This allows you to create a structured data format for representing grids, matrices, tables, or nested collections of data. You can access elements of a multidimensional array by specifying the indices for each dimension. Let's create and access elements in multidimensional arrays with examples. Creating a multidimensional array. Here's how you can create a simple 2D, two-dimensional array in JavaScript. Please see the code in the background. In this example, 2dim array is a 2D array with 2 rows and 3 columns. To access elements in a multi-dimensional array, you use multiple index values. The first index specifies the row, and the second index specifies the column. Here's how you can access elements. Please see the code in the background. You can go deeper for multi-dimensional arrays with more levels of nesting. For example, a 3D array would have 3 levels of index values. Please see the code in the background. In a 3-dimensional array, you would use 3 indices to access elements. Creating and working with multi-dimensional arrays is essential for handling structured data, and it allows you to represent complex data structures such as grids, tables, or 3-dimensional spaces. The approach for accessing elements extends to as many dimensions as you require. Modifying elements in a multi-dimensional array. To modify elements in a multi-dimensional array, you simply use the indexing to access and update the values, like the code in the background. In the above example, the element at row 0, column 2 is modified to have a value of 10. Looping through a multi-dimensional array. You can use nested loops to iterate through elements in a multi-dimensional array. This allows you to access and perform operations on each element systematically. Please see the code in the background. This nested loop will iterate through all elements in the 2D array and print their values. Length property in arrays. In JavaScript arrays, the length property is a built-in property that represents the number of elements in the array. It tells you how many items are currently stored in the array. Here's how you can access the length property of an array, like the code in the background. In this example, fruits.length returns 3, because there are 3 elements in the fruits array. The length property is dynamic, which means it automatically adjusts to the number of elements in the array. When you add elements using methods like push or unshift, the length property increases, and when you remove elements using methods like pop or shift, it decreases. Keep in mind that the length property is always 1 more than the highest index in the array, because arrays in JavaScript are 0 indexed. For example, if an array has a length of 3, the indices would be 0, 1, and 2, and the length property would be 3. JavaScript provides various methods for working with arrays, like push, pop, shift, unshift, slice, splice, and more. These methods make it easy to add, remove, and manipulate elements within an array. Push method. The push method adds 1 or more elements to the end of an array and returns the updated length of the array, like the code in the background. Pop method. The pop method removes and returns the last element from an array, reducing the array's length by 1. Please see the example code in the background. Unshift method. The unshift method adds 1 or more elements to the beginning of an array, shifting the existing elements to higher indices and returning the updated length of the array. Shift method. The shift method removes and returns the first element from an array, shifting all other elements to a lower index and reducing the array's length by 1. Includes method. The includes method checks if an array contains a specific element and returns true if the element is found or false if it is not. Index of. Method. The index of. Method returns the index of the first occurrence of a specified element in an array. If the element is not found, it returns -1. Join method. The join method creates and returns a string by concatenating all the elements in an array. You can specify a separator to use between the elements. Default is a comma. Concat method. The concat method in JavaScript is used to merge 2 or more arrays or values into a new array. It doesn't modify the original arrays, instead it returns a new array that contains the combined elements. This is particularly useful when you want to create a new array by joining existing arrays or adding new elements to an array without altering the original data. Here's how you can use concat with examples. Merging arrays with concat. In the example code in the background, fruits1.concat, fruits2, combines the elements from fruits1 and fruits2 into a new array called merged fruits. The original arrays, fruits1 and fruits2, remain unchanged. Adding new elements with concat. You can also add new elements to an existing array by providing them as arguments to the concat method, like the code in the background. Slice. The slice method extracts a portion of an array into a new array. You specify the starting and ending indices, the ending index is not included, to create the slice. Splice. The splice method is used to add or remove elements from an array at a specific position. It can also be used to replace existing elements. Spread operator ... The spread operator ... is a powerful feature in JavaScript used to expand or spread the elements of an iterable, for example an array or a string, into a new array, function call, or object. It allows you to easily copy or merge the contents of one array into another, pass arguments to functions, and more. Let's explore how to use the spread operator in arrays with examples. Copying an array. You can use the spread operator to make a shallow copy of an array. This means that a new array is created and it contains the same elements as the original array without sharing the same reference. merging arrays. You can use the spread operator to merge two or more arrays into a new one, like the code in the background. Adding elements to an array. You can add new elements to an array by combining the spread operator with additional elements. Spreading an array into function arguments. You can pass the elements of an array as arguments to a function using the spread operator, like the code in the background. Spreading an array within an array. You can use the spread operator to spread an array within another array. Cloning and modifying arrays. You can clone an array with the spread operator and modify it simultaneously. The spread operator is a versatile tool for working with arrays in JavaScript, providing a concise and expressive way to perform common operations like copying, merging, and modifying arrays. Flat. The flat multi-array method is a built-in JavaScript array method that allows you to flatten a nested array structure, converting it into a one-dimensional flat array. This is useful when you have an array that contains other arrays and you want to transform it into a single array with all the elements. Let's explore how to use the flat method in arrays with examples. The flat method does not modify the original array, instead it returns a new array with all the elements flattened. In the example code in the background, the flat method flattens the nested array, resulting in a new array, flat array, with all elements from the nested arrays. You can also specify the depth to control how many levels of nested arrays should be flattened. The flat method accepts an optional depth parameter. In the example code in the background, flat 2 specifies that the flattening should occur up to a depth of 2, resulting in a fully flattened array. By default, the flat method removes empty slots, undefined values, from the resulting array. The flat DOM method is a powerful tool for handling nested arrays, making it easier to work with data structures that contain arrays within arrays. It simplifies operations that require a one-dimensional array. The array.isArray method is used to check if a given value is an array. It returns true if the value is an array and false if it's not, as shown in the code in the background. In this example, array.isArrayOr returns true because R is an array, and array.isArrayObj returns false because obj is not an array. Array.from, the array.from method is used to create a new array from an iterable or array-like object. It allows you to convert objects like strings, maps, and sets into arrays. In the example code in the background, array.from str converts the string str into an array of its characters. Array.of. The array.of method is used to create a new array with the specified elements as its contents. It's useful for creating arrays with a known number of elements. In the example code in the background, array.of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creates an array containing the specified elements. Destructuring is a feature in JavaScript that allows you to extract elements from arrays and assign them to variables in a more concise way. You can use destructuring to easily access elements by their positions. In the example code in the background, the array fruits is destructured into separate variables first, second, and third, allowing easy access to each element. Destructuring can also be used with REST elements to capture remaining elements in an array. In this case, ... REST captures the remaining elements into an array. These methods and destructuring provide valuable tools for working with arrays and handling data transformations in JavaScript. Question: explain why the following code will output an empty array. Answer: the code in the background will output an empty array because the array.from method expects its argument to be an iterable or an array-like object. In this case, the provided object, name:\ashraf, is neither an array nor an iterable, so the resulting array is empty. The array.from method works by creating a new array from elements in the iterable or array-like object. Objects like name:\ashraf do not have iterable properties or a length, so there are no elements to create an array from. If you want to create an array with the object's properties and values, you would need to convert the object into an iterable structure, like an array or a map, or manually extract its properties and values to form an array. Here's an example of how you can create an array from the object's properties and values. In the example code in the background, object.entries is used to convert the object's properties and values into an array of key-value pairs, resulting in an array of key-value pairs with one element, name:\ashraf. Knowledge check quiz. Here are 10 multiple-choice questions to test your knowledge about arrays in JavaScript. Question 1. What is an array in JavaScript? A collection of key-value pairs. B, a collection of functions. C, a collection of elements of the same or different data types. D, a collection of objects. Answer is C, a collection of elements of the same or different data types. Question 2. What is the index of the first element in an array in JavaScript? A, 1, B, 0, C, -1, D, undefined. Answer is B, 0. Question 3. How do you access the last element of an array myArray in JavaScript? A, myArray.get -1. B, myArray -1. C, myArray.length -1. D, myArray.get myArray.length -1. Answer is C, myArray.length -1. Question 4. Which array method adds one or more elements to the end of an array and returns the updated length? A, push. B, pop. C, unshift. D, shift. Answer is A, push. Question 5. How do you remove the first element from an array in JavaScript? A, array.delete, 0. B, array.shift. C, array.remove, 0. D, array.pop. Answer is B, array.shift. Question 6. Which method can be used to create a shallow copy of an array in JavaScript? A, copy array. B, clone array. C, slice. D, splice. Answer is C, slice. Explanation: the slice method in JavaScript can be used to create a shallow copy of an array. It allows you to copy a portion of an array or the entire array without modifying the original array. This is particularly useful when you want to duplicate an array to work with it separately without affecting the original data. Question 7. What is the purpose of the flat method in JavaScript? A, to add elements to an array. B, to remove elements from an array. C, to flatten a nested array into a one-dimensional array. D, to find the sum of all elements in an array. Answer C, to flatten a nested array into a one-dimensional array. Explanation. The flat method in JavaScript is used to flatten a nested array structure, converting it into a one-dimensional, flat array. It removes the nesting and combines all the elements into a single array, making it easier to work with data that contains arrays within arrays. Question 8. Which of the following statements is true about the spread operator ... in JavaScript? A. It removes elements from an array. B. It creates a deep copy of an array. C. It allows you to merge arrays and spread their elements. D. It can only be used with strings. Answer is C. It allows you to merge arrays and spread their elements. Question 9. How do you add new elements to the beginning of an array using the spread operator? A. Array.push new element. B. Array.shift new element. C. Array.unshift new element. D. Array.pop new element. Answer is C. Array.unshift new element. Explanation. You can add new elements to the beginning of an array using the spread operator by using the unshift method along with the spread operator. Here's how you can do it, like the example code in the background. In this example, new element is added to the beginning of the array by creating a new array using the spread operator along with the unshift method. Question 10. What is the purpose of the concat.do method in JavaScript arrays? A. To remove elements from an array. B. To create a shallow copy of an array. C. To flatten a nested array. D. To merge arrays and create a new one. Answer is D. To merge arrays and create a new one. Explanation. The concat method in JavaScript arrays is used to merge arrays and create a new array that contains the elements from all the arrays involved. It doesn't modify the original arrays, but returns a new array that combines their contents. This method is useful for joining multiple arrays into one, making it easier to work with combined data. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our Learn JavaScript series. Stay tuned for more exciting JavaScript concepts and coding skills at Coder Beans.